Hey there, this is Mike from Black Cat Amplification, and I'm doing this video because this is a really neat, very rare Valco Airline amp head here that I had purchased, and starting to go through a purge process of getting rid of a lot of different amps so I can make room to build new amps as I build a lot of amps. But I wanted to do a demo of this because this is really rare and I don't see a lot of demos of this particular model. This is an Airline Valco, made by Valco. Airline was, they made a lot of radios back in the day. I believe this was like early 70s, maybe late 60s. Not quite sure, but this has been restored in the sense that the main filter caps have been replaced. Everything else is pretty much original. Power cord has been changed to a safe 3-prong. It has one input. It has an 8 ohm output. It's 2 6L6 configuration in the power tubes. It has two 12AX7s in the preamp. It's pretty basic. It has a volume, a bass, and a treble. Very unique sound that you get with these, and I'll show that. There's a line reverse, which is polarity, which really doesn't do anything now because that's for, if you didn't have a 3-prong cord on it, your on-off switch. And this is actually a light dimmer, which is really cool. I don't know if it's going to show it in this video. Yeah, it does. So one of the things that attracted to me to this amp was, one, I've had a couple different Airline amps, and they sound awesome. I mean, they're like one of the most underrated amps, vintage amps, with just simple, clean sounds. This does get a little distorted when it's pushed, and I'll try to do that. There's a fuse here, and it's pretty basic, but sounds awesome, and it has this really, really cool chassis design with these lights that are just wild to light up the panel. You don't see that a lot in these vintage amps. So it has like a nice sturdy frame around it, a nice handle, and this one's in really, really good shape. So this has been restored but not modded. This is the original circuit, just the caps replaced, the old caps that went bad over time. It's been cleaned, all the pots and everything have been cleaned. Couple little minor resistors and caps were changed around the tone circuit here just because they were the old waxy type that tend to go bad over time, and they did not test with intolerance. So a couple of those have been changed, but they've been changed to the original values. So this should sound just like it did when it came off the assembly line. So I've got it hooked up to this really nice vintage Ampro speaker cabinet. This was, I believe, made for movie projectors, but it has a nice 12-inch Jensen speaker. And let's take a listen. I've got a Fender Stratocaster here. I'll do a couple different sounds with the different pickups in it, but I've got it the volume about on 3 or 4. The bass is just a little bit above half, and the treble at about half now, and I just think this is just a great clean sound. Let's play with the tone controls just a little bit so you can kind of see. When I turn the bass down, all that bass goes away and is filtered out, and you get a lot of treble. Add the bass in. It starts getting that muddy territory, which is actually really nice for jazz playing. If like you had a nice Gretsch, kind of get that sort of warm, play with the treble a little bit. Let's put it all the way down. Let me put the bass just above half. Little treble. Really nice and clear. Okay, all the way up on the treble. I noticed that, like, once you get past half on the treble, at least my ears can hear a little bit of the mid frequencies actually coming up a little bit too. So it sounds just a little bit more scooped, maybe not quite as much as a Fender. But as you push it up, some of those mids come in. Like, I'm getting more mids than I am treble, I think, at this point. Because even down here, the treble comes up real fast. See how that brightened up? If you want it brighter, turn the bass back. And then if you want a little more mids, push that past half on the treble. Playing anything very good here. It's just trying to give you the sound of the amp itself by playing a few chords. And this is a true point-to-point configuration on the chassis. It's really nice. It's built really, really well. Like, I think this amp is going to last for years and years, especially now that it's kind of been serviced with some of those older caps that were really starting to go bad over time. But now it's set up really nice. No tremolo, no reverb, just a simple amp, but built extremely well. I'm really impressed as an amp builder, and it sounds great. It's quiet. I mean, turned all the way up, all you hear is just a tiny, tiny bit of hiss. I don't know if I can play it this loud right now with the neighbors being home, but I do have an attenuator, so I may hook that up. But you can really get a lot of nice gain out of this thing. Actually, yeah, before I hook it up to the attenuator, I'm going to show the back here real quick. So this is a really neat design. Those lights that are in there are, screw-in bulbs, which are pretty neat. You don't usually see those in many amps. And surprisingly, you know, it's really quiet. So it has this little plastic tray. You have the 6L6s in here. This one has some vintage 6L6s. I forget what the brand is. I think one of the preamp tubes is vintage and one is been replaced with a JJ currently, but sounds awesome. I think the pots were replaced because they were bad. The track on most of the pots couldn't even be cleaned. So they are new pots with the same values, but this can is the original can capacitor, which has been disconnected, and I believe it's been replaced with some really nice F&T caps that are underneath and hidden. So that's just there. That can is just there for aesthetics, to keep the vintage look to everything. Transformers have a little bit of normal rust and wear look to them, but they all operate great. And somebody had put a sticker before I bought this, and they said it was a model, they had it set as an 811A, but this is actually a model 911A when I did the research. I don't think they even made an 811A. So two 6L6 GCs and two 12AX7s, and you can see a couple of those parts there that are on the pots. The orange sprigs and those blue resistors were actually replaced. I did some of that work, and somebody did the cap replacement before me. So those were done just recently, and super, super clean underneath on the chassis. And like I said, it's dead quiet. I mean, just a tiny, tiny bit of normal amp hiss when you turn it up, but it's a beautiful amp, it really is. Here's like a quick side view, so you can see how it's this really neat angled shape. The front's sort of angled, and then you have the recessed chassis control panel there with the lights. So it's really neat, and it does have this little space here for, you know, it's got the original grill cloth, but it's not really for a speaker because it's just a head, but it does give it that nice appeal. And that was all cleaned up. Tolex was cleaned up. There's, you know, a tiny bit of normal like bubbling and stuff, but it's pretty clean. A couple little spots where it's, you know, just a little bit of chipping and stuff in the corners, which you would normally see in a lot of amps like this, but it's nothing that's like really torn or taking away. I think it's got that amazing vintage look. It's just such a cool amp. All right, here we go. I've got my Strat, and I've got the bridge pickup on, right, which is going to sound the hottest when I push the amp. So here is the amp at about 3 or 4. Let's push it. It's on half. It's starting to get a little breakup, but not too much. If I hit the strings really lightly, you don't get a lot, but if I starting to get more. Crackling in my speakers, and I think that's just because I got the output volume a little too loud. Try to adjust it. Now if you want to crisp this up a little bit, instead of turning the treble, cut the bass back a little bit, because I think it tends to, you know, take more of the bass frequencies out and put a little more of the treble in. We're going all the way up. So you can see it has some pretty amazing breakup there too. It would record really well. See if it can do some breakup on the neck pickup. And that echo you're hearing is just the Captor X has this space setting that gives you a little bit of reverb, so the amp, it's not coming from the amp, but the signal is definitely purely coming from the amp. Okay, let's do the neck pickup. Very wild amp. Anyway, I hope this video helped somebody. I know it was a little long, but I just wanted to demo it before it's gone. Trying to sell some stuff, so somebody's going to get a really nice amp and enjoy this for a long time to come. But if you happen to come across one of these, I would pick it up, man. You know, especially if you can get it for under $1,000, hopefully under even like $500. It's a really, really nice amp, and it's got that character to it that you just can't beat, and it's amazing circuit too. Cleans up super well. Thanks for watching.